People who work at super fancy hotels, what kind of stuff happens that management doesn't want people to know about? It's pretty common to have a dead guest. There's a standard procedure for it and we take care of it quietly. They are a weirdly popular place to commit suicide. Have a nice last meal, some nice entertainment as the swan song, then die in the comfort afforded by 5-star accommodation, safe in the knowledge that someone will find the body and they won't be left lying on the floor of their own home for 7 months before somebody notices. During housekeeping, hotels use different colored cloths to wipe your drinking glasses, cutlery, toilets, and sinks to avoid contamination. They just didn't bother separating these cloths after wiping and moving to the next room. Did valet at an upscale hotel in SF. The number of times I parked luxury vehicles with drugs haphazardly precariously stowed in obvious places always blew me away. Not surprisingly, those guests were great tippers as they learned who to trust. So many escorts too, always laughed at dudes who'd come to the restaurant for lunch with a new lady practically every day like he was showing off his catalogue of women as if no one knew he paid for them all. We take notes on your reservation profile. Everything from anniversary information to fave cocktails and foods. Add notes to pass along to other staff. The amount of sex toys left behind will blow your mind. $2,000 per night, and this place has a serious rat problem. I have a pretty interesting one. We know criminal enterprises have funded casinos in the past. I worked at Revel Casino, now Ocean, in Atlantic City before and after its opening. One thing they kept mentioning in our onboarding was that the triads were funding the casino. I thought it was super strange that these execs were just openly telling brand new hires. Worked at the Luxor Casino in Vegas while I waited to go to film school. People piss and masturbate under the gambling tables. Front desk knows all the cool girls. We give them water on the way out and sometimes call them taxis. Management doesn't like us doing it, but escorts tip well. People often commit suicide in hotels. That way their loved ones don't have to find them. We had a customer find the overnight front desk receptionist in the closet passed out with something wrapped around his neck and his dick flopped out. Was some kink play he used to do. Guy still kept his job. We turn a blind eye to drug dealers and prostitutes more often than you think. They hardly complain and usually prepay huge bonds happily. Also, we don't give a shit if you're having an affair. My buddy was a dive instructor at a luxury resort on an island. One of the guests had a heart attack on the diving excursion before he got off the boat. The nearest doctor couldn't come for 24 hours, so they put the corpse in a guest room and cranked up the aircon. Of course, reception gave the key to the corpse room to a newly arrived honeymooning couple. They were greeted by the star of Weekend at Bernie's. Edit for clarity: doctor was to sign off death, do formalities, not to save life. Mauritius in the early 1990s. A family member used to work at Upperland Hotel in Nashville. Yes, it's super fancy. For about a year, they had a phantom shitter. As in, random dumps left in random places. It was always in corners where security cameras didn't reach. They figured it was an employee, and had some ideas, but never knew who it was, until someone left and it stopped. This was about 20 years ago. My brother worked in an upscale hotel in Southern California. A morbidly obese guest sat on the toilet in his room, shattered it, got his femoral artery slashed by a chunk of broken toilet, bled to death, and flooded his room when the water line ruptured. My brother found out about it from the maintenance guy who found the body. Management made sure no other guest ever knew, including the guests in the room below the death scene who called for maintenance because water was running down their wall. My wife claims that the amount of people who shit in the shower far exceeds however many people you think shit in a shower. Edit: 1,000 people have commented waffle stomp. You do not have to comment waffle stomp. Please stop giving me notifications. Las Vegas, city of excess, people overdo it. drink, drugs, and die in their hotel rooms all the time. Vegas. Old guys hook a Viagra cocaine dead. Porn shoots. And you know those carpets and upholstery ain't getting cleaned. Some luxury hotels that cater to sports teams have standing agreements that no room service is allowed after the team departs, otherwise, the girls the athletes brought back the night before will rack up huge bills the team has to pay. Edited for clarity. We have a secret way in from the parking garage that leads to the executive offices. It's for prostitutes. These comments remind me that when I was on vacation last year, a guy drunk tried to do a backflip on the balcony and fell off. I wanna say it was like the 10th floor, maybe. It was pretty big talk around the city. Edit: he did not survive. There is this hotel near the SeaTac airport. People will rent rooms on the backside top floors and then suicide off the balcony. Yeah, they are not going to run that in the news. Not often, but when it happens no one knows. OP is a writer for White Lotus trying to come up with ideas for the new season. We had valet service at our hotel, and due to huge amounts of theft and break-ins by bums in our lots, we had to go through guests' cars and take everything of value out to hid stuff in our conference room, then put it all back in before we brought their car around. Was ridiculous. And we had to keep it under wraps. Lots of theft, quite a few deaths, and plenty of prostitution. We once had a lady overdose in the hot tub. That was a big cleanup. People spend thousands of dollars only to get drunk and show their whole ass to the point security gets involved to deal with their toddler-like behavior. When a housekeeper loses a key while cleaning and someone has to cancel the key because we don't know if some random person picked up the key and now has access to all guest rooms. Honestly, if staying at a hotel always deadbolt door and use night latch for this reason, or if front desk issues a key to the wrong room because both are a common issue. My story's quite tame compared to most of the ones here. When I was in college in the early 1990s, I was a banquet server at a semi-high-end place, and there was a couple who stayed in a room for several days and ordered room service for all their meals, including at least one bottle of Dom Perignon champagne, which at that time was $150 plus tip. They were otherwise unremarkable except for one thing: when they checked out, they paid their bill entirely in quarters, which they brought to the lobby in canvas bags. We guessed they most likely owned a car wash, or a laundromat. Oh man, I saw it all. Nudity, drugs, dead people, people pooping all over the place, prostitution, it goes on. If you ever need material for a book, a job in a hotel will do it. I came in expecting wild, wacky stories involving sex, money, and Warhammer miniatures, and all I got was drug overdose and suicide via balcony. Don't ever stay at a hotel, your chances of dying go up apparently. Worked a while back at a 5-star 5-diamond resort in Vegas in room service. At that time, if you bought a bottle of booze for your room and didn't open it, including putting it out with your dishes, then it is resold. Was very frequent. There's a great book about this titled Hotel Babylon. The story was taken from a bunch of different hotel employees and their testimonials. A good follow-up about the same industry secrets but for airlines is Air Babylon, by the same author, Imogen Edwards-Jones. There's a whole series showcasing lots of industries. Orgies, cuckolding, prostitution. My mom used to work as a cleaner in a fancy hotel. She actually ended up quitting because of how disgusted she was that 99.999% of the bedding, towels, etc. never got washed. She said there's such a time pressure to get X amount of rooms done in X amount of time that many cleaners would just remake the beds and refold the towels. My buddy was a doorman at a JW Marriott hotel in DC. Mike Tyson would come in with his entourage and ask doormen to get booze, weed, hookers, and even the phone number of the cute front desk woman. Lots of $100 bills flying around. Mike would come in with $15, $20